This interview is for information only and should not be considered as investment advice or a recommendation to buy shares in the company featured. Welcome to this Stock Box interview. Malcolm Palle, the co-founder and executive chairman of Coinsilium, is with me today on Stockbox following some recent news. Now, the company has released its annual report, including the financial statements ending 31st of December 2020. Now, Malcolm, this is a very large document. Probably not everyone will read it all, or perhaps they might get a little overwhelmed by it. But from my point of view, I can see several key takeaways. First of all, making a profit this year. Investments starting to bear fruit. Your partnership with Nifty Labs continues to grow, and the launch of a crypto stamp. So, can you go through them and perhaps put some of the key points into context for us?
Yeah, sure, Mark. Thank you very much. Well, yes, the numbers are good for us. I think that the context is important to remember that Coinsilium started life as an investment company, making equity investments in startups, and so we have a legacy of investments in our portfolio. Obviously, you know that we changed our strategy last year to that of a venture builder, which means that our focus is going to be predominantly on ventures, building ventures. Doesn't mean we won't make investments, but it more importantly, we're not going to take the startup route passively and invest in companies on other people's ideas. So, you know, our assets are the investments we've made, and we've done them in various formats. One thing we've never done, we've never bought tokens. So we've never, invested in a company via tokens. We have received and been paid a lot of tokens, and through a combination of bonuses when we made equity investments, and also through fees that we've charged to advisory clients, and that those tokens make up our crypto treasury. So that's sort of money that we've got to back us up in reserve. But back to the actual results, what's driven the financials has been predominantly a revaluation of one of the investments that we made in our portfolio. It's a company called Startup Token, which we invested in 2017 as an accelerator. We invested there in a combination of cash and shares, and we have 30% of Startup Token. We haven't talked much about it because they've been in stealth mode most of last year, and they did start off light, as I said, as an accelerator, but they were highly active during the ICO wave of 2017-18. But they kind of positioned themselves last year and became advisors to an NFT token project. And through that advisory work, they have an agreement to be paid tokens in the NFT marketplace that they're creating. We don't really need to delve too much into it, but it would urge shareholders and investors to look at the report, particularly that section relating to our investments, and you'll see that an investment that was carried on our books in 2000, well, the end of 2019 at £360,000 or so, has been revalued to just over £1 million. So that's the most important thing, and that's really what's driven the performance. And we believe there's more in the tank for that to go even further, because without sort of expanding too far, the increasing valuation has been down to the issuance of tokens to them and the project they are working with, and we've only booked those tokens at the issue price, which was 20 cents. So, and kind of rightly so, because we've got to be cautious. The token, however, started trading after the year end, and it went up to over $5 at one point, and it's currently trading at about 45 cents. So it's obviously, like a lot of these new platform tokens, that they tend to be very volatile. But it's a really interesting project that they're working with. It's what they refer to as a patronage art, digital art website. So or marketplace, should I say? And they sort of tie up the marketplace, brings digital artists together with patrons, and they have various ways of actually creating a community that supports digital artists. And this space is growing phenomenally, mainly driven by NFTs, because the digital art space has been one of those areas where people didn't appreciate what's happening until NFTs came along, and then you saw a whole load of new kind of a new wave of art. Not people with canvases and brushes, but people actually are using these ever-growing, more sophisticated programs to create unique art pieces and express themselves that way, and they're getting a considerable following. So without going too far into it, the bottom line is we own 30%, Coinsilium owns 30% of Startup Token, and Startup Token are the main advisors and initiators of the Minty art website. So that was just something that came left field, I suppose, as most investors would have seen, but it had quite a material impact on our account. So that's sort of looking good. So that's one point to pick up on, and it's one of those things that unless you do read, I know you mentioned that a lot of investors don't read the annual report, and it's kind of very frustrating for company directors because they go to a lot of trouble to get this ready. And it's not like the sugar rush of a news release, which is only as good as the market stays excited for. These reports get distributed far more further. They get taken more seriously by investors who actually have been doing this for years and years. And it's where you sort of the devil's in the detail. You see everything that has been going on, and you see the important things, not just, mostly obviously the financial, but also, the review of the year, the outlook. And also, we've had the opportunity here to actually talk about a lot of things that sit behind the company and back up its valuation. So whilst you say that a lot of investors find it daunting, if you're going to take your investment seriously, without sounding too patronizing, it's worth putting a little bit of time aside and actually plow through it. The worst case scenario, you might get a bit bored, but the best case scenario, you might pick up on something that those investors who don't look at these things will miss. And one of those things was, particularly in this case, was the revaluation of Startup Token, which is, I think, sort of had quite a bit of an impact on our share price. That in combination with the hackathon, but I think you're going to ask me about that later.
Indeed, yeah, the hackathon we'll come on to, and even though you say it's left field, that's it's a huge bonus there, clearly, for Coinsilium. Did you want to touch on your partnership with Nifty Labs and then the crypto stamp as well? Yeah,
of course. Nifty Labs is a partnership between Coinsilium and Endorse. It started as an MOU. We've then, we are sort of working on a revenue share agreement, which is in place or about to be put in place. But we are ultimately looking to solidify the relationship. The thing about the partnership is because we've known Endorse for such a long time, Coinsilium incubated the company. I'm a director of Endorse, and we also own 10% of it. And we kind of work very, very closely. We're advising them on their token. So we're really, motivated as they are to find ways of working closer together. And Nifty Labs was really a concept that came out of our desire, on both sides, to work closer together. We both saw, both companies saw the potential in NFTs, but the key to what the Endorse guys have got is the technical understanding of how this NFTs work and how to actually create solutions that can work with this new technology sector, and also give us an edge going forward. Because the key to NFTs is the smart contracts that are written for the way the NFT acts and performs. And these guys have got the skills. You've seen they've created a really interesting tool called Nifty Scanner, which is which kind of sits in a browser as a browser extension, and can analyze the location of the media, the metadata, and the provenance of an NFT, which is something that really didn't exist before. So that's just an example of the kind of innovation that they've come up with, and they're bringing to the party with Nifty Labs. What the latest thing that we've done with them, which again we'll go on is the hackathon, but this is a fast evolving partnership. We're working now on the development of a marketplace, an NFT marketplace, which they're building for Nifty Labs, and we hope to have an update on that in the next week or so, because that's going full steam ahead from our side, and it's great to have that capability. So with the Endorse team's sort of technical and capabilities, and their understanding of the technology and the sector, and our kind of commercial structuring and business experience, we've got a unique combination here, and we're very, very much looking forward to watching this play out, because I think there's some very exciting things are going to come out of this. Pointing out as well that most of the development in terms of actually Nifty Labs progress has been in post-period in this year, so not in the year where we reported under the annual report. But the good news is that our interims, which are the 6 months to the end of June, are going to be out within the next 3 months. We have to have them out by the end of September. So that will show a lot of the progress there, and quite a lot of other things that that can be seen. So so we're looking forward to being able to talk more about that.
Okay. And on of course, your crypto stamp, the launch for that went successful, I believe, and of course, people who took part in that are now able to get hold of their NFTs, and they're able to open their NFT packs fairly soon, I think, as well. Malcolm, is that right?
Yes, the crypto stamp and the Genesis collection is really a working pilot. This is how we launched it. We wanted to show what can be done and what we can do, and we also wanted to use this to show potential partners and clients, and anyone who's going to sort of look at us and see that we've got a marketplace. They know that we're not just sort of winging it. They know that we can actually pull something together that is a model. It's not the biggest NFT project in the world by a long shot, but it is something that has captured the imagination here in Gibraltar, and it is something that is intriguing people, and it also gives exposure to sort of people who haven't been exposed to NFTs before, of some of the challenges that are sort of inherent at the moment in this technology at such an early stage, particularly the fact that you have to buy NFTs with cryptocurrencies. And I think we've all seen it's not always straightforward to do that. So that's, where there's a problem, there's an opportunity. And these are the kind of things where we're sort of looking at with quite eagerly, because we know that once the solution comes about, we can, the market really will go mainstream. And there's quite a few things that are going to be covered in that. And again, we'll talk more about that when we talk about the hackathon.
Well, let's come on to the hackathon then, Malcolm. So the company released some news of an NFT vision hack. So tell us, what is the NFT hackathon and what do companies involved get out of it?
Yeah. So this is really an exciting development. Firstly, the team at Endorse have put hackathons together for their clients in the last 2 or 3 years. They've done them in Singapore for some of their Fortune 500 clients, particularly with I think Grab, which is the Singapore version of or entity that bought Uber in Southeast Asia. Last year, they put together, in partnership with Coinsilium, the post-COVID hack, which was a hackathon for as a competition for people developing solutions around the challenges that COVID had thrown up. And we fortunately got great support from the government of Gibraltar for that. And it sort of was an obvious from their point of view and ours when they said, let's do an NFT hackathon, because the timing was right. And this is, I think, the first, I mean, there have been a few, but I think this is probably the most high profile hackathon to date. So if perhaps I should explain what a hackathon is for those who aren't familiar with it. So it's a sprint-like competition for developers to create solutions. And it's a kind of competitive and also collaborative environment. And this particular one is online. It's running through from July to it's just started to the end of August. And we have sponsors between us. So there's some really great sponsors. They just running through them by name. So Rarible is renowned NFT marketplace. Circle, which is Circle Pay, very large company that provides payment solutions for crypto, and they also have the USDC stablecoin in their stable. Obviously, Nifty Labs and Endorse are mentioned as sponsors. They're sort of in-house sponsors, if you like. Filecoin and IPFS are decentralized storage capabilities, and they're on fire now with the advent of NFTs, because the media for non-fungible tokens has to be stored somewhere. And IPFS stands for Interplanetary File Service. I think certainly the Interplanetary is right. And Filecoin is the coin that sort of works in conjunction with that. And this is a decentralized service for hosting the media of the NFTs. And if it's done in a decentralized, distributed way, then there's less likelihood of them being hacked and the assets corrupted or stolen or going offline. We've also got, importantly, the government of Gibraltar, Gibraltar Finance, as a sponsor as well. And they significantly they always want to be at sort of avant-garde and at the forefront of anything happening with blockchain, because they've made such an amazing, fist of what they're doing in this space with the regulations. And like us, they believe that there is this emerging space with non-fungible tokens will be another kind of killer app for blockchain, but it's sort of in the sense that it's evolving. So finally, on what these competitions and the prizes that the entrants can win are based around. Each of the sponsors has provided what they refer to as a track, which is the subject matter of what they want the developers to build solutions on, and the prizes in total are $68,000. So that's quite a meaningful amount that will go to the winners. Split between the winners of each track. So Rarible their track is to create innovative applications on the open source Rarible protocol, which is pretty generic, but they're going to sort of judge those. And I would urge people to go to the nftvisionhack.com website. You'll see the challenges in detail. Endorse have put a challenge, and their track is to create and submit a concept for a scalable NFT art project, which is interesting because CryptoPunks is the kind of the bellwether in the art space, and they're the ones that sell for the highest value. So we kind of thought, the Endorse team thought that, let's get another concept that can create high value, and it's possibly the next generation that will take over from CryptoPunks, or maybe go stand shoulder to shoulder with it. And IPFS and Filecoin are looking for innovative solutions in gaming, which is interesting as well. And importantly, Circle and the USDC, they want to see solutions built involving innovative payment solutions, to making NFTs accessible for a worldwide audience. And this is the one we think we're most excited. Well, we're excited about all of them, but this is the one that could help to actually bring NFTs mainstream. Because if payment solutions, as you know through your own challenges in sort of buying crypto to buy the Gibraltar Genesis collection stamp, it's not always easy, and that's because the banks don't make it easy. So Circle have got a capability with Visa, and they have got the capability to actually give people the tools to create the solutions. But what we want to see is this whole area more streamlined. So this is really exciting for us. The opening ceremony was on I think Tuesday, early this week, and there were over 250 people on it, just sort of finding out what the competition was about. So yeah, I mean, I'm sort of waxed lyrical about it. I can't tell you how excited I am. It might not sort of mean much in sort of pounds or revenues initially for Coinsilium, but it has much greater value than the monetary factor, because it puts Nifty Labs in the same place as some of the biggest names in the NFT space. So everyone who is involved knows about Nifty Labs. It also gives us sort of really frontline access to see what the developments and the innovation is that's going on in the space. And it also makes, the hundreds of developers that are going to be building on, for these challenges, aware of Nifty Labs. So, it couldn't be a better set of circumstances for us to actually sort of come out of the traps running.
Well, you say you're pretty excited, Malcolm, and you've mentioned there's some of the players in the space like Circle Payments, Rarible, who are involved in this hackathon. There's also IPFS, Filecoin, USD Coin. So these are quite big players in the crypto and blockchain space. I mean, how does it feel to be working with them, and how did this opportunity come about?
Yeah, well, firstly, it's very early in the space. Our reputation and our connections, and particularly Endorse's being technical guys, means that they can pick up the phone to these people, and we can pick up the phone to some of these people. But you only do this or send emails or WhatsApp, whatever it is. We've got connections there. You're pushing on an open door in the NFT space when you're talking to someone and saying you're putting on a hackathon. So you're not exactly trying to sort of persuade them to part with their precious resources for something that they may be unsure of what the benefits are. The benefits are clear. We've got the experience, we've got the between Coinsilium and Endorse, we've got the reputation, we've got the track record. So an NFT hackathon is something that anyone in this space, where they're looking for innovation and they want to see people innovating and building on their protocols, that's really the key to it. So it shouldn't surprise people that this is something that can be achieved. It's just about making sure that what you're offering them is the right thing at the right time, and you're in the right place.
And I wonder if we can just finish, Malcolm, on a thought. And when you closed the funding round, which you announced on the 25th of May, where you raised £1.155 million, you stated in that announcement that Coinsilium has the firepower to accelerate its growth trajectory by being flexible and opportunistic when presented with new strategic opportunities in the digital marketplace. So I wonder, can you just expand on that?
Yeah, sure. Well, yes, we completed a round of funding, and as you said, on the 25th of May, and this was the quote we put in the announcement to explain what it was for. It's not to keep the lights burning. It's not something, we weren't short of cash. We just really wanted to accelerate our growth trajectory and also, use that funding for that purpose. So the key to it is that, we didn't want to commit to investments until we had funding to actually cover that, and likewise, without impacting our runway. Although arguably our runway could be seen to be extended further than we anticipated before, simply because of the value of our crypto which has gone up materially, albeit having pulled back in the last month or so. But it's still, surplus to the cash that we've said was sufficient runway till January 2022. So we weren't in, and we're not in a difficult position cash-wise, and we weren't pressed before then. But when you see opportunities and when you see what you can do, if you've got a little bit more firepower, then you really have to think about whether the raise and deploying those funds would be create greater shareholder value than the dilution it causes. And it wasn't a huge amount of dilution at the price and the valuation given the trajectory the company's on. So I think the key to it is opportunistic. We have got we've got several opportunities which I can't really expand on at the moment, that are all in the areas that we are sort of strategically focused on, which is NFTs and open finance. And these aren't sort of passive investments. It's not, we're not going back to the old model where we see something that looks good and we stick some money and hope for the best. We're actually looking at creating value and synergies with what we're doing at the moment. So it's deploying cash into opportunities where it can create possibly a new revenue channel for the business, or a new growth opportunity in partnership perhaps with another player. But you need to have some funds on the table when you do this. And the opportunistic side of things is something you can be when you actually you've got the money to deploy in that direction. Key is that you don't need when you're involved in this space to the level that we are, and you have the technical capabilities to build things. You don't have to spend huge amounts of money, in the sense that if you're an investment company and someone's coming and you're paying full retail, if you see what I mean. We can build a platform with our technical partners for the cost of hiring developers. We don't have to go and pay money to a separate company. And obviously our partners in doing so, in joining us with this, are part of the opportunity as well. So I think that's key. I'm sorry, I'm probably waffling a little bit, but the fact of the matter is we've got a chunk of money in the bank from the fundraise. We're seeing lots of opportunities. We're negotiating with people about how best to actually maximize these opportunities. And when the time is right, we'll be able to hopefully conclude them and announce that to the market.
Okay, well, Malcolm Palle, the co-founder and executive chairman of Coinsilium, thank you very much for that comprehensive update.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to this Stockbox interview. For more information, interviews and videos, visit our website at stockboxmedia.com, or give us a follow on Twitter by searching @StockboxMedia.